Morning. I got a comment on an update I made on one of my, not my support group, but one of the support groups that I'm a member of. And the comment was that, well, several comments actually throughout the time has been that they don't understand how I can do it, and because they would be frightened, too much frightened to embark on anything similar to what I'm doing. But at the same time, they find it interesting what I'm doing. And my instinctive answer was, yeah, I know it is a bit out of the normal and blah, 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 yaggity, yaggity. But as I've been giving it a little bit of thought, I realized it's just a matter of perspective, very much indeed, because this is not something I necessarily want to share in groups, because I do not want to discourage people from doing what they're doing. A very, very important part of the healing process and getting ready, of getting well again, it is that you believe in what you're doing. And so I would not want to sit and rob people of the reasons to choose the treatment that they have embarked on, because once they are on it, they kind of no return to that one. Yeah, sure, they can supplement it with some other initiatives in the same kind of things that I'm doing if they wanted it to, but they would not know whether that fits them personally because they have no way of knowing, they have no way of measuring it. Um, and so the whole idea that you do what you believe in is very key, very important. But to me, it is way more scary the concept and idea that I give away totally my autonomy to the medical industry. Not because of the medical industry per se, but because the medical industry is just a place that makes money. And I've said that so many times before, but that is the case. And and so and I see that constantly on the support groups, that people, they are anxious when they go for their 3 months test to get a new jab to see whether the jab even have value, because if their PSA values are rising, then it's because now there might be castrate resistance. And if you read up on it, you know that there are a lot of alternatives. That's what the medical industry says. But at the same time, what they don't tell you is that while you have been doing that, you've been compromised your health, severely compromising your health. And so when you start combating things with another treatment, your odds are not increasing. And I think I read somewhere that the life expectancy once you get castrate resistance is only 3 years. Now, I just don't get it in my brain how that is better than what I'm doing. I really don't go. I really don't know. It would scare me so much more to know that my health is dependent on both how much I can afford, but also on for how long the drug works. Drugs that compromises my life quality, that is to say, as well. So people say, "Oh, I don't understand why you can do it. I don't understand. Um, I don't understand why you dare do it." I don't understand why people, they without trying every single bit of a possibility, dare jump on the medical industry's product. I have, like I've said, I haven't received it yet. Maybe it's got lost in the mail. But I have ordered, not Ozempic, that's another story. I have ordered Casodex. So I'm fully aware of the fact that I might be forced to it, because, as I think I mentioned in another story, I see the medical industry being like tugboats on a big ocean. And one of the jokers is right now that I don't know how, at what speed my super tanker right now is steering towards a collision course with fatal consequences. I have no idea. It looks as if I have put a brake to the super tanker, but if that's not the case and my PSA goes up, yes, I need that tugboat to pull me out of a fatal collision, and I'm ready to accept that. But I'm not ready to accept it blindfolded. I want to know in what direction I'm going to be pulled when a tugboat gets into action. Because here's the thing, as I've also said before, the tugboat won't pull you in the right direction. To the contrary, it will destroy your rudder. It will destroy your stern. It will destroy so many things that you will be dependent on tugboats for the rest of your life, unless you educate yourself and figure out a way how to manage things from the bridge of your supertanker, and guide the boat into the right direction, repair it yourself. So it doesn't really matter whether I am on medical products or not. I would always fight to see if I can find solutions on my own. And the only reason why I'm doing it right now the way I am doing it is because status quo is status quo. So if I can maintain a PSA that is lower than it was when I got it the first time, the 14th of August last year, and I might be wrong on this one, but I'm still saying if I can keep it lower than that, then my situation has not worsened. That might be wrong on that one, and that's for the future to show. But I believe that might be right, and I believe that the initiatives that I do has a possibility of working. And with that in mind, I don't understand why anybody would compromise their life and let themselves be dependent on drugs that compromises their life qualities. And they don't know when it's going to run out, because it's not up to them. It's up to the inevitable, and it is inevitable. I think they call it sunset drugs, because there will be a day when the sun sets. It might be shining, it might be good, it might be wonderful, but there will be a day when the drug sunsets. I think I just saw a was that talk, not a talk show, a podcast regarding the Ozempic, this wonder drug to slim people up. It's a fantastic example of how rotten it is with the health industry, if you will, because there's nothing health to it. Yes, you do reduce weight, and yes, if you are one of the 50% that doesn't have no side effects, and that's what we're talking about. Everybody has side effects. 50% at least have side effects, and so if you're one of those, then you are very lucky. But once we reach the sunset time, and there's a sunset time at all drugs, where you're plateauing, where no change is happening, then you can't get off the drugs, because studies have already shown that once you get off the drug Ozempic, then you will have not only an increase of weight and you'll go back to where you were, but you will have an increase plus, because that's how the body has been altered. So you are either on Ozempic forever, or you have to take the consequences if you take it and be more fat when you stop than you were when you started, because that's the consequences. And that's why, because the medical industry doesn't teach you how to live. It doesn't teach you how to eat properly, because there's no money in doing that. Well, it's not 100% fair. It's not their business. I mean, it's like a car dealer doesn't teach you how to drive a car either. That's not their business. But that's a very key notion here, because if you want to know how to drive a car, you have to learn yourself. You cannot just go buy a car and think then everything goes well. Unless, of course, it's going to be those automated cars if you just give an order, but that's a different story. So no, when people say they don't understand how I handle doing this, because they would be scared shitless. Well, it's easy, because the alternative, that's what scares me shitless. It scares me shitless with these drugs. I don't mind drugs. I'll take my pills for headaches on a rare occasion if that's the case, and if I get issues with my stomach and I can't do it with some natural remedies, yeah, I'll take a pill for that as well. I've got all my vaccinations. Yes, I did get the vaccinations when it was my parents' choice, and I get the vaccinations back in 91, 92 when I was deployed in Croatia, where I had no idea whether I should be skeptic or not. But these was proven vaccines. It were vaccines that was working very well, and we know that for a long time. I didn't care. But to know that being on a drug will be on a time limit, that scares me so much more. I remember when I was prescribed pills against the depression. I had a severe depression when I got divorced back in 2003, and I was really in a bad place. And when I went out from that doctor after 40 minutes without saying one word, every time I tried, I just broke down and cried. And 40 minutes later, I went out of there with a prescription for some drugs that should lift my mood. But the fact that I knew that that was my problem right now, I was just in a deep depression, also meant that I had a way to dig myself out of it, I thought. So I dumped that prescription right in the garbage can, and I never took it. And it's not because I don't want to, and retrospectively I probably should have, but because it took me 10 years to dig myself out of that depression. But no, if there is any option to get out of a tight spot by natural means, I will always try to find that, and it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Everything else is just, as I keep saying, a life-prolonging subscription for a life in lower quality, and I don't want that. I'm greedy. Anyway, that was just a little reflection on why am I doing this and why I see it the opposite way around than apparently most people who are ending up in my situation. Until next time, as always, stay healthy.